Every woman at some point has wondered, what does he actually remember about our time together? What sticks in his mind long after it's over? Because here's the truth: men don't remember every single detail, but there are certain moments, certain positions, certain feelings that brand themselves into his memory forever. And I'm not talking about circus tricks or whether you can twist yourself into a yoga pose he saw on Instagram. That's not what makes a man lose his mind over you. What men actually never forget is the experience you give them, the emotions you stir up while you're together. It's not the position itself that's unforgettable. It's what that position makes him feel. So if you've ever thought, am I doing enough? Am I exciting enough? Is he going to compare me to someone else? I want you to let that go. Because the truth is, the moments that make him crave you have nothing to do with comparison and everything to do with connection. Think of it like this: great sex isn't about doing 100 different things once. It's about doing 3 or 4 things so powerfully, so confidently that he'll never get them out of his head. That's the secret. It's not about variety, it's about impact. And ladies, impact doesn't come from your body shape or how long you can last or how wild you are. Impact comes from your presence, from the way you look at him, from the way you take control in just the right moment, from the way you can make him feel like he's the only man in the world when you're with him. That's why today I'm breaking down the 3 sex positions he'll never forget. But before you start imagining complicated diagrams or something you'd find in the Kama Sutra, stop right there. What I'm going to share with you is simple, powerful, and absolutely unforgettable, because here's the truth: men may enjoy physical variety, but what they crave, what gets them hooked, is the combination of body and mind. That's what creates obsession. That's what makes him fall asleep still thinking about you and wake up craving you all over again. So are you ready? Let's dive into the first position, and I promise it's not what you think. When it comes to creating a moment he'll never forget, nothing beats the power of eye contact. I know it sounds almost too simple, right? But here's the thing: men are wired to crave intensity, not just variety. When you hold his gaze, when you look directly into his eyes at that exact moment for closeness, you're not just connecting physically, you're connecting on a level that goes far deeper than the body. You're reaching into his mind, into his emotions, and that's where unforgettable experiences are made. Think about this: so much of intimacy today has been reduced to mechanics. People worry about how they look, what move comes next, whether they're doing something that will impress. But while everyone else is stuck in that loop of overthinking, the woman who can stay present, the one who can look into his eyes and send that unspoken message of "I'm right here with you," she's the one he'll always remember. Because she's not just sharing her body, she's sharing her presence. And presence is magnetic. When you hold eye contact in that moment, it's not just sexy, it's vulnerable. And vulnerability is terrifying to some people, which is why so few truly master it. But it's also irresistible. You're telling him without words, "I trust you, I want you, I see you." And men don't forget being seen. They don't forget the woman who wasn't distracted, who wasn't worried about how her hair looked, who wasn't pretending, but the woman who was fully, unapologetically there. And here's the magic: that gaze, that connection, it slows everything down. It takes the experience out of autopilot and puts it into technicolor. Suddenly, it's not just about movement or sensation. It's about emotion, it's about intensity, it's about a fire that feels personal. And that's what makes him obsessed, because sex without connection can be fun, but sex with connection, that's unforgettable. So I want you to imagine the next time you're in that moment with him, instead of closing your eyes and getting lost in your own head, open them, find his, lock onto them. Let the rhythm, the pace, the closeness keep going, but never break that connection, even just for a few seconds longer than usual. You'll see it. His whole energy will shift. He'll feel seen, desired, chosen in a way that few men ever get to feel. And trust me, once a man experiences that with you, he'll chase it again and again, because here's the secret: it's not about what you do physically, it's about how you make him feel emotionally. And that eye lock, that's the trigger, that's the imprint. It's why you can be in his arms for one night or for years, and yet that one moment of intensity will replay in his head long after. He'll be at work in the middle of something mundane, and suddenly that memory of your eyes locked onto his, your body in sync with his, your presence surrounding him, it'll come rushing back, and he'll feel it all over again. So don't underestimate the simplicity of it. Sometimes the most powerful positions are the ones that don't require you to twist or perform, but the ones that demand you show up fully as you. Because confidence isn't about how wild you can be. Confidence is about daring to be seen. And when you give him that, you become unforgettable. There's something unforgettable about the moment when you take control. I'm not talking about acting out some extreme fantasy or playing a role that doesn't feel natural to you. I mean those moments when you flip the script and show him that you're not just a passenger in the experience, you're the driver. Men crave that shift because it's unexpected, it's thrilling, and it hits them with a wave of excitement that sticks with them long after. Think about it. Most of the time, men feel like they have to lead. Society conditions them to be in charge, to make the moves, to set the pace. But when a woman takes control, it's like she's saying, relax, I've got this. Let me show you what I want. And that confidence is intoxicating. It tells him he's with someone who isn't shy about her desires, someone who knows her worth, and someone who can turn the tables in an instant. That moment when you guide him, when you shift positions, when you set the pace, it's powerful because it communicates more than just physical control. It tells him, I'm comfortable with myself. I'm comfortable with you. And I'm not afraid to show it. And men remember women who radiate that kind of energy. They remember because it's rare. So many women hold back, afraid of being judged, afraid of seeming too much, afraid of stepping outside the box. But the woman who owns her sensuality and shows it without apology, she's unforgettable. And here's what's interesting: when you take control, it doesn't just excite him physically, it excites him mentally. He's used to being the one with the plan, the one who directs the action. But suddenly you're guiding him, you're setting the rhythm, you're choosing how close, how fast, how slow. And in that moment, he gets to surrender to you. He gets to feel desired in a way men rarely do. That's what sticks in his mind. Because it's not just sex, it's the experience of being wanted, being claimed, being shown, I want you, and I'm going to enjoy you. And let me tell you something, men don't forget the women who show them that side. They'll think about it weeks later, months later, that sudden switch of control. That's what replays in his head, not because it was shocking, but because it was fearless. Now, does that mean you have to be aggressive or out of character? Not at all. Taking control can be as simple as shifting on top, leaning in closer, slowing things down when he expects it to speed up, or even just guiding his hands where you want them. It's those little shifts that tell him, I'm not just here to please you, I'm here to enjoy myself too. And that's the sexiest thing of all. Confidence is magnetic. And when you show him you're confident enough to take the lead, he won't just remember it, he'll crave it. He'll crave the feeling of being with a woman who knows what she wants and isn't afraid to take it. That's the kind of woman who gets stuck in his head, who makes him replay the night again and again, not because of the position itself, but because of the way she made him feel powerless and desired all at once. So don't underestimate this. The take control moment is one of the most powerful tools you have, not because of what it looks like, but because of what it says. It says, I choose you, I'm confident, I'm in this moment with you. And once a man experiences that, he never forgets it. There's a reason the whisper, close position, is one he'll never forget. It's because intimacy isn't just about touch. It's about atmosphere. It's about creating a world where everything else fades away and the only thing that exists is you and him. And when you're close enough that your lips are brushing his ear, when every breath, every whisper, every sound is right there for him to feel, you're not just connecting with his body, you're taking over his mind. Think about it. Most of the time, men experience intimacy in a way that's very visual. They see, they notice, they admire. But when you bring him in that close, you flip the senses. Suddenly, he's not just looking, he's feeling you, he's hearing you, he's surrounded by you. And that sensory overload is unforgettable. It's not just sex anymore, it's a memory he'll keep coming back to because it's burned into his brain through every nerve, every sound, every breath. What makes this position so powerful is the communication that happens without words. You don't have to perform, you don't have to say much. Sometimes just a single whisper, a single soft word in his ear is more powerful than anything you could shout. Why? Because it feels like a secret. It feels like he's hearing something meant only for him, something no one else gets to have. And men hold on to that. And don't underestimate the effect of sound. The human brain remembers sound in a very emotional way. A whisper a moan, a soft laugh, these things stay with him. He can close his eyes days later and hear your voice right there again, close to his ear, and he'll relive the moment. That's how you create obsession. You're not just in his bed, you're in his head. And let's not forget what being physically close does. When you press against him, chest to chest, cheek to cheek, he feels all of you. Your warmth, your energy, your presence, that closeness removes any sense of distance. It's as if you're melting into each other. And in that moment, he doesn't just feel desired, he feels completely connected. And connection is the drug men don't forget. The whisper, close position, is also about control in a different way. You're guiding the energy, the pace, the mood, simply by how you breathe, how you move, how you sound. When you lean in and whisper, you can slow him down, you can build anticipation, you can drive him wild without even moving faster. That's the beauty of it. You're not doing more, you're doing less, but the effect is 10 times stronger. And here's something powerful to remember. When you're that close, your confidence shines. You're not hiding. You're not performing at a distance. You're letting him see and feel you fully. And that's what makes it so unforgettable. It's raw. It's real. It's intimate in a way that most men rarely get to experience. So the next time you want to create a memory he can't shake, bring him in close. Whisper something in his ear. It doesn't even have to be words. Sometimes just breathing his name or letting out that little sound of pleasure will do more than any elaborate move ever could. Because at the end of the day, men remember how you made them feel. And in the whisper, close position, he'll feel desired, he'll feel chosen, and most importantly, he'll feel completely yours. And that is something he'll never forget. One of the most unforgettable things you can do in the bedroom has nothing to do with adding more. It's about taking something away. It's about slowing down when he least expects it. I call this the slow burn switch, and it works because it plays on one of the deepest human desires, anticipation. You see, most people think passion means faster, harder, more intense. And yes, that can be exciting, but it can also be predictable. Men are used to that pattern. But the moment you interrupt it, the moment you change the rhythm, you instantly create contrast, and contrast is what makes memories stick. Think about a song. If it's all one pace, it fades into the background, but the pause, the drop, the build up, that's what makes you feel it. That's what makes it unforgettable. When you slow things down, you're sending him a message. You're saying, I'm in control of this moment. I decide how long you wait, how much you get, how deeply you feel it. And that control doesn't just excite him physically, it drives him crazy mentally, because you're teaching him that you're not afraid to take your time, to tease, to build him up until he's hanging on every move you make. And here's the secret. Slowing down doesn't cool things off. It turns the heat up. It forces both of you to feel more, to notice more. Every touch, every kiss, every brush of skin becomes magnified. When you switch the pace, when you pause right at the height of passion, you give him something he doesn't get anywhere else. The gift of anticipation. And anticipation is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs there is. Imagine it, you're in the middle of it. The energy is building. He's expecting you to keep pushing forward. And instead you pull back. You look at him, you slow the rhythm, you make him wait. His mind goes wild because he's caught between pleasure and desire, and that tension is intoxicating. That's the moment he'll remember. That's the moment that brands itself into his memory. And it's not just about teasing him, it's about creating a deeper emotional connection. When you slow down, you're saying, this isn't about rushing to the end. This is about savoring the journey. This is about being in the moment together, and that's something men don't forget, because so often intimacy becomes about release instead of connection. You're giving him a new experience, one that makes him feel more deeply, one that makes him crave more of you. And ladies, here's the thing, slowing down also shows confidence. It shows that you're not afraid to hold his attention, that you don't need to hurry, that you're in control of your own pleasure. Men love that. They love when a woman isn't performing, but enjoying, because enjoyment is contagious. When you're savoring the moment, he feels it, and that energy will stay with him long after. So don't be afraid to play with pace. Speed up when you want, but slow down when he least expects it. Let him see that you can stretch out the moment, that you can make it last, that you're not afraid to take your time. Because in those moments of slow burning intensity, You create memories that no man forgets. He'll remember the anticipation, the teasing, the way you made him feel like he was on the edge of something bigger than just sex. That's the power of the slow burn switch. It's not about how fast you go, it's about how deeply you make him feel. And once he experiences that with you, trust me, he'll crave it again and again. After all the heat, after the rhythm, after everything that made him lose himself in you, the moment that lingers longest, the moment he'll never forget is the one you share when the action stops. In that space, when your bodies settle, when breaths sink, when skin touches skin without urgency, you have a chance to turn what was electric into something eternal. That's the afterglow position. Not a gimmick, not an add-on, but the emotional anchor that locks in every spark you created. Picture this, you lie there, chest to chest, limbs tangled, your face near his, your heart still racing. You don't rush to shower. You don't pull away. Instead, you lean into him. You stroke his hair, trace his jaw, whisper his name. You let the silence between you speak louder than any movement ever could. In those gentle touches, he feels seen, safe, wanted. That's what makes the memory last, the tenderness after the fire. Because what happens in that silence is that his guard comes down, his mind relaxes, his heart opens. He doesn't have to be strong or perform. He just is. And that vulnerability is rare. It's the kind of vulnerability men don't often allow themselves with women. But in the afterglow, when you stay there, when you don't disappear, you give him that gift. You show him that your interest isn't just in the moment of heat, but in what follows in the real you. And that show of consistency, he won't ever forget it. The afterglow position is also about anchoring the experience deep into his memory. Think of it like carving. All the emotional intensity, all the connection, all the intimacy, you press it deeper. Every whisper, every lingering kiss, every soft embrace rewinds itself in his mind later on. He'll remember not only what you did, but how you stayed, because so often people rush to get dressed, rush to move on, rush to life. But you staying, that says, I want you even when nothing else is demanded. And that message, it stays. In that moment, you can also talk, not about what you're going to do tomorrow or what you forgot at the store, but about him. Tell him what you love about him, what you appreciated, what surprised you. Watch his expression change. Let him open up. In that frame, there's no performance. There's just two people feeling, connecting, absorbing. That kind of exchange, so soft, so honest, is unforgettable because it shifts sex from a moment to a memory. And because you've slowed, because you've grounded, because you've let things breathe, the emotional value of the whole night ratchets upward. He doesn't just leave thinking about what it was like in the heat. He leaves thinking about what it felt like after. That's the real mark you leave on him. Someone who doesn't walk away too soon, someone who lingers, someone who values more than climax. That's the kind of woman who stays in his head. So the next time you want to give him something unforgettable, don't forget the afterglow. Stay touch, breathe, speak softly. Let him feel your presence even when nothing urgent is happening, because men forget the mechanics, but they remember the closeness. They forget the shapes, but they hold on to the softness. They might forget the positions, but they'll always remember the way you stayed with him afterward. And that is what turns desire into devotion. As we come to the close of this conversation, I want you to pause for a moment and think about what you've just discovered. Great sex for men isn't about complicated tricks or flashy moves. It's about feeling truly seen, respected, and deeply connected. It's about trust, vulnerability, emotional closeness, and the little things that make intimacy powerful. When a man feels understood, appreciated, and safe, that's when intimacy transforms into something unforgettable. And here's the thing, these secrets aren't just for men. They're for couples who want to elevate their connection, strengthen their bond, and create moments that last long after the lights go out. So now the question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? If even one of these insights spoke to you, I encourage you to put it into action. Start small. Maybe it's listening more deeply, showing more appreciation, or being bolder in expressing love. Little changes lead to powerful results. And if you found value in this video, don't just keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe so you never miss the conversations that could transform your relationships. I'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below which of these secrets stood out the most to you. Remember, intimacy isn't something that just happens. It's something you create one intentional choice at a time. Start today and watch how everything begins to change.